Spider-Man 4 will no doubt be one of the biggest Marvel movies once we actually get it. It's pretty much default now. Whenever it's a Spider-Man movie and you have Tom Holland involved, it's going to be a success. I do have a question for you guys. Will Deadpool and Wolverine cross $1 billion? My guess is yes. Welcome to the Chaos Multiverse, everybody. Chaos. And we have a lot of new Spider-Man 4 leaks. We're going to go over everything. We're going to talk about the latest leak with the black suit and how that could actually end Spider-Man 4, segueing into Secret Wars. Make sure you guys are subscribed with those notifications fully turned on. If you don't want spoilers, you might want to tread lightly, because we are talking about some stuff from some industry insiders that they usually know what they're talking about. Now, we all know that Spider-Man 4 entered early production right after Spider-Man No Way Home was a success. I mean, it wasn't even greenlit until after December of 2021 at the earliest, and Sony and Marvel, they had to agree on the direction they were going to go. Sony owns the movie rights to Spidey. Marvel calls the shots with anything in the MCU. There has to be this give and take. We've seen this in the past where it almost just kind of fell through. Now, the script likely isn't finished yet. The story probably isn't even finished yet, to be honest with you, because Marvel and Sony are having disagreements on the direction it should be going, according to industry insiders. In April of this year, Tom Holland stated he's part of that creative team for the movie this time around, but he also said everybody wants it to happen. Of course they do, and we all know it's going to happen. It's literally a license to print free money. Leaks also stated that Sony wants another big multiverse movie like No Way Home, which makes sense after that movie just absolutely dominated the box office. But Marvel wanted the movie to basically be a street-level Civil War-esque, bring in Daredevil, Echo, Kingpin type deal, which that also makes sense because Marvel is currently worried they're burning people out on the large-scale spectacle, and they may be trying to tone things down a bit and focus on characters, especially with a character like Spider-Man, where they know a big part of the community would probably be okay with that street-level Civil War vibe. They would. That's kind of where the comics took it for the most part, and I know personally a lot of people would like that. But then again, there's always something about the bigger, bang for your buck in the multiverse. We're right in the middle of the multiverse saga. We know he's going to tie in there some way, so maybe you find a medium ground. Sony's motion picture chairman, Tom Rothman, recently referred to the Spider-Man 4 as a significant event, which is kind of puzzling because that could literally mean anything. I mean, it could. No director has been chosen. We know John Watts directed the first 3 MCU Spidey movies, but he has also confirmed he will not be returning for Spider-Man 4. I think that's actually a good thing because we could use a Spidey director maybe with a bit more style, maybe a Sam Raimi, maybe a Mark Webb brought to the table. I may get some flack for that and some heat. I'm not saying that John Watt didn't deliver because he absolutely did, but maybe a fresh face, maybe a new perspective when you're kind of, you're basically starting in a new trilogy probably for Spider-Man. We also have new leaks, and these have been flying around the last couple days, talking about the symbiote that was left behind at the end of No Way Home. I mean, nobody remembers Peter. He doesn't have any actual friends. The symbiote influencing him to indulge his darker urges, it's going to be an interesting story because he won't have as much of a positive point of reference to resist the temptations of the symbiote. Maybe they already realized that. I don't know. It's possible. I mean, we already know that Tom Hardy wants his Super Bowl is Spider-Man versus Venom, or Spider-Man and Venom eventually teaming up, or Spider-Man and Venom ending in Secret Wars. You know that usually starts off with a 1v1. It has to. And then if they decide to be on the same side at any point, that would be down the road. But all roads are going to lead, if you ask me, to Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Tom Hardy's Venom. It's inevitable. It really is. In the words of Thanos, it is inevitable. It has to happen. It makes so much sense, and everybody wants it. Now, the symbiote that was left behind in that mid-credit scene will most likely play a huge role in Spider-Man 4. Now, it may not play a role until the very end, but it is going to play a role because that dedicated symbiote arc is going to be a huge part of the lead up to Secret Wars. You cannot have even a remotely accurate Secret Wars if you don't have Black Suit Spider-Man. So Peter was left all alone, completely isolated at the end of No Way Home. Nobody remembers him, no friends, and this is the perfect time. Now, the black suit in the comics was heavily tied to the Secret Wars arc, and since Avengers 5 and 6 is that Secret Wars arc, it's possible Marvel wants to set that up in Spider-Man 4, meaning the black suit could be introduced in Spider-Man 4, but the symbiote arc will actually be resolved until a future movie. This won't be like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, where that arc begins at the beginning of the movie and it ends in the confines of a single movie. This is going to span multiple movies leading into Secret Wars, whether that's one movie, two movies, or even three movies. It is definitely not going to be a one and done, and leaks are actually saying that we may not actually even get that until the end, because there are rumors flying around that Peter pretty much dies, almost dies at the very end of the movie, and then the suit saves him, which, of course, then he feels like, hey, the suit has my side, it's a good thing. And then we end Spider-Man 4 in a pretty dark place, or things start to get dark. We'll have to see. Now let's talk about Daredevil. Could make his big screen debut here as well. Marvel is putting a lot of stock behind Daredevil Born Again, and Charlie Cox is in full superhero shape as of right now. The Netflix Daredevil series is widely seen as one of the best parts of the entire MCU, and Marvel is really trying to piggyback off of it with Echo and bringing back Vincent as Kingpin. Now, come on. Daredevil and Spidey have a huge relationship in the comics, and if Marvel gets their way and gets Spider-Man 4 to be a more street-level movie, it's very likely that Daredevil will be a supporting character. If he is, like Iron Man was in the past to Tom Holland's Spider-Man, it's going to be nothing but good. Now, assuming Spider-Man 4 does bring in the symbiote arc, it's possible Daredevil could be the moral anchor that keeps Peter from just fully giving into the suit. Spidey needs a completely new team of allies now. Nobody remembers him. And if this ends up being a street-level movie at all, and Daredevil Born Again and Echo have been confirmed that Daredevil is roaming the streets of New York in the MCU, Marvel might want the two heroes on the big screen together. You know that would sell tickets. Then again, they don't have to sell tickets for Spider-Man. It sells itself. It really, really does. Now, Daredevil will obviously be toned down from his shows, since there's no way Spider-Man 4 ends up being an R-rated movie. But if Daredevil and Kingpin are in Spider-Man 4, it's very likely this will be the darkest Spider-Man movie we've had ever. It may end up pushing the boundaries of PG-13 in order to show the grittiness of MCU street-level crime. And I have a feeling that Tom Holland is pushing for that grittiness and that darkness a lot. I really do. Another theory is that Spider-Man 4 will be a torch-passing movie that brings in Miles Morales, but it's also possible Sony wants this to be the start of the new Tom Holland trilogy. And after the third movie, then they'll pass the torch to Miles. This one seems totally dependent on how many more movies Tom Holland wants to do it through with, because he's super marketable, and Sony and Marvel probably don't want to replace him until he's ready to go, and they absolutely have to. So could we get a Miles Morales introduction in Spider-Man 4? Possibly. Could we get a teaser? Most definitely. But if they're going to do the whole trilogy, the second trilogy, and then Miles takes over after that, which gets us probably to like 2027, 2028, which is probably what they want to do, then we may not see an actual live-action Miles on the screen. Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire got the same treatment that Tom Holland did, meaning after Doctor Strange's spell, they went back to their timelines, and nobody remembers them as Spider-Man, which could also play into the Secret Wars arc and whatever is coming from those two as well. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Thank you for all the support on the channel, and I'll see you guys soon.